felt like I was watching myself there. It was one of the coolest things.
That's neat.
Yeah, it was really great. And you know that thing, you're only as happy as your most unhappy child?
Yeah.
So he's happy.
Good.
My daughter's happy, so it's like, it's good for us.
Good.
Yeah. It was really neat.
See, I never had a life offer.
He just graduated, basically. My youngest son just graduated Navy, basically.
I've only got one. I got one 2 years ago.
My fireplace is covered.
Where is he at?
He's in, outside of Chicago, in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'd like to have a bobcat. Problem is, I'm gonna take a farmer with me. I always have a 2-seater.
I just told her, like, people live up there.
My 30-30. No, we're 100 for years. I didn't have a shot.
I mean, I don't know what was wrong. They gotta
I
be
probably
built
don't either, but the hay meadow that I
It
put,
was freezing.
if I do hunt across it,
Crazy.
Yeah, so people don't know if they'd be up there purpose.
And you know that.
get to 53.
And this Sunday.
It is now 6 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for November 15th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Chad Cleckler.
Here.
Daniel Turner.
Here.
David Wright.
Here.
Cassie Hollinshead. Here. Tony Harris.
Here?
Amanda Kelly. Here. And Randy Humphrey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, if y'all will please stand and join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this time that we can gather here. Be with us now as we enter into this meeting. Guide us and direct us as we conduct business for the city of White House. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. Amen. Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, that takes us to item D, community interest.
Yes, sir. We recently, the Youth Community Council did their Veterans Day ceremony on the 12th. And we got a report last night at City Council meeting, and it sounded like it went really well. We now have the kneeling soldier installed, and I believe that is the 2 items that go up on the pedestal, and they are working on getting the bricks, the memorial bricks that go around. So anyone wishing to buy a brick can do so to honor a veteran. So,
Okay.
and then Christmas in the Park will be on December the 3rd. We'll have the parade and the synthetic ice rink, food vendors, a movie,
Tree lighting. What
tree
time's
lighting.
the parade?
I'm sorry,
What time's the parade?
3:30.
So glad it's daylight hours this year. Yay!
Okay. Anybody have anything else? Okay. Takes us to item E, the public forum. I don't believe we have anyone that's signed in on the public forum.
No, sir.
Okay, all right. And that will take us to item F, consideration of minutes. I believe all of you got your minutes in your packet.
I move that we approve the minutes of the October 18th, 2022 meeting.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. All right, then that takes us to item G, other action items, public hearings. G1, public hearing, discussion, consideration, and action on rezoning request for a 5.25 plus or minus acre tract of land located at 514 Willingham Road in the M. Guitteriez Survey Abstract A0364 Smith County, Texas, from residential estate density to residential low density. Request of Jay and Debbie Bynum. All right. Will you give us some background on this, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, the developer has reapplied for rezoning, but this request is for residential low zoning and no planned development. The number of proposed lots has been reduced from 14 to 11. In the staff report, there's a table which shows the differences in the requirements between residential estate, which is what its current zoning is, and the proposed residential low zoning. The table may say RM at the top, but that is RL. I tried to change it and had issues getting it online, but that really is the RL numbers. All the advertisements were done. I have received 2 responses against the rezoning, but those 2 people could not be here tonight. Shannon Katz has provided a letter to you all that I placed at your desk, at your places tonight. And then I received 1 call today from a neighbor, Benita Span, who is against the rezoning as well. If you'll allow, I'll just tell you, she left me a voicemail, and so I tried to write down everything that she was saying. She was saying that she's greatly concerned about the negative impact that she believes the rezoning would cause to traffic, speeding. She says residents can't back out of their own driveways now. She has concerns about new people and new houses nearby, with the sense of being in the country, that would be gone. She was afraid for her grandchildren playing in their backyards just because people could come across the pasture. Increase in the value and property values, which also increases taxes, which she has concerns about that, paying her taxes, and believes it would only benefit those selling the property. So tonight we will have a public hearing, and it looks like we have those in the audience who wish to speak, and staff is seeking a recommendation from you.
Okay. All right. It is now 6:06 p.m. I will close our regular meeting and open up our public hearing. Okay, do we have anyone who would wish to speak that's in the audience for or against this rezoning request? Okay. Just please come forward, state your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Preeti D'Souza, and I'm at 516 Willingham Rd. I spoke last time, and I think I have a little more confidence speaking in front of a gathering today. But our family moved about 1.5 years ago, and we bought 10 acres from Jay and Debbie Bynum, who were developing that land into a subdivision. And we had, on multiple occasions, so we had asked whether we could purchase that piece of property because it borders ours and it would just give us a little more land and also that privacy which we wanted, to being in the city but still having that country feeling. And we were always told that this was going to be their primary home and they're going to construct. There was an old home which belonged to grandparents, and that was torn down last year. We asked about it. They said, oh, they're just preparing, taking it out because they wanted to remove all the connections, but they were going to build a primary home on that. And we believed all that they said, and they never disclosed to us that they had anything in mind about the subdivision. I don't want to speak for Gus, but Mr. Gus is at 510 Willingham. He was here last time. His house faces the pasture. He had the same request. He wanted to buy those 5 acres too, and he had asked about it. The response was the same. And we just feel like if we were informed that there was a subdivision coming here, we would have looked at different areas to move. We wanted this because I have an autistic daughter who goes to Kane Elementary, and we needed special ed. We wanted to be within the city so she could use those services. Right now, if that subdivision comes there, we lose value, even though our taxes will go up, and that's an issue for us, but we also lose the value because nobody's going to want to come and buy our property looking at that subdivision there. We've thought about moving. We talked the last few months, we talked as a family about, because I've been laid off about 3 weeks now. So my husband and I are both unemployed, and so we talked about moving to an area which is less expensive, but we would not be able to sell our property because we would have to disclose a subdivision. And looking at that, nobody would want to buy it, because if they want 10 acres in the city, they don't want it next to a brand new subdivision. So it's going to hurt our chances of selling, not that we intend to, because we just love it here in White House. And like I said, we need the services for our daughter. But it would hurt us because we're unemployed now. We're going to struggle for a while before we get employed. And if the taxes go up, it's going to affect us that way too. So we are in a really hard place right now, just trying to figure out what the outcome of this is going to be and how it's going to affect us. And besides that, the construction, tearing down all those trees, there's about 100 trees on that land. That's going to, just expose our property, because right now that the trees are a good source of, like, it's a barrier, so we, the lights from the street, they don't hit us. So we're going to lose all of that, and it's just, and again, like I said, the taxes, it's going to affect us. We're not going to be able to pay it, and I think some of the residents have the same concerns about that. And actually tonight is my husband and daughter celebrating their birthday, but I have to leave and come here because I need to voice my opinion, because this is such an important issue for us, and it just means a whole lot. And the decision you make is going to just affect us as a family and affect our neighborhood in general, just the outcome of it and just the landscape of our neighborhood. And I agree, the speeding right now is just a narrow two-way street. There's people speeding even now. There was a cop for a while, and they kept the I don't know what it's called, but where you read the speed limit. That was there for a while, and people were slowing down, but then everyone's back to 50 on that street, and just the increase in traffic. And it's a thoroughfare because people from Bullard even use that road coming up to White House and Tyler, so it's already such a busy street. So there's a lot of those concerns as well, that it's just going to increase the traffic in that area and just bottleneck all of our properties. So I implore you, if you can just make a just decision about this subdivision, that would definitely help us out. And I trust, in God we trust, and we trust His will be done. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Okay. Do we have anybody else that would like to speak?
I'm Bob Lennon. We live at 410 Willingham, and the property for rezoning would come within 200 feet of our property. We have a lot of livestock, horses, and one of our greatest concerns is if a development comes in, you always have children that like to come over, see the horses, feed them, and things like that. And anybody that has horses and everything knows that they can't eat anything that they want to eat. Aside from all that, though, I want to support Shannon Capp's letter that was addressed to you all, and we stand behind the issues that she presented to the committee. Why is there a need for rezoning at all for development of, I guess, from 14 to 11 homes now? Is that what we're going back to? On such a small parcel to begin with. Some of the developments that we see around our area, it's hard for fire trucks and the paramedics to even get in and out of developments when cars are parked on the roads. And I don't see the urgency of having another development. I think what Pretty just mentioned, obviously people look at property taxes that could be affected by this. There are a lot of retired people up and down Willingham, which obviously makes them on fixed incomes. We all know the pressures that we're under right now with our inflation. We don't know where everything will go from here. Only God does. But I don't know if the developer has submitted any new plans to you all. I understand that the city has a City Vision 2020 plan, and in its application, it states that an applicant has the duty to produce evidence to this committee and the city council that justifies the proposed zoning change. Can we see anything that has been submitted by the developer to this committee that would warrant even us even thinking about a change?
It's public hearing, I don't know if I can answer.
And I can get that, yeah, I don't need the answer now, but I just want to bring that for the record. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see where the change is. But as a property owner that's been there since 2004, we do have our concerns over the development of 11 homes on 5 acres. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ask me a question, I don't even know how long I've lived in my house. I'm Jan Seal, I live at 701 Willingham. My driveway will just be catty-cornered literally from where the land starts. My main concern is all these kids that walk up and down the road. A lot of these kids walk up and down the road from school daily. And the people that fly up and down that road, it's gonna create even a bigger problem. Excuse me. It's, you know, there's no place for the little kids to get. You know, I see them, I leave at 7:15 every morning, going to work. I work over here by Fresh. I leave my office at 4 every day, come home, and these little kids are still tramping up and down the road. And the speed, number one, is horrible. We have called the cops, I don't know how many times, and begged them. Somebody's gonna get killed. Then you're gonna add 11 more homes, and some of those kids are gonna have to probably walk to and from school. And it's just a scary situation. And then my other concern is the taxes. We have a house and on a half an acre and then 5 acres adjoining it, and my taxes are high now. My husband said could lose his job starting in January, and it's just a really big concern and a worry of ours. We moved out there 20 years ago, I think, something like that, 25. And it's been a country atmosphere, and now it's a speed trap up and down through there. It's dangerous. Adding 11 more homes, and I can only assume there's probably going to be 2 people to each home, a husband and a wife, more than likely, and the traffic is just going to be intensified greatly. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
You can do it. You can do it. Can I come up here with him?
Mhm.
You can do it. He's had a stroke and he's going to talk.
My name is Todd. I live at 511 Willingham Rd. We've been there for over 30 years. 32 years, something like that. We've got like 4 acres right catty corner to where they're gonna build this. And my concern is not only what those people said, my neighbors said, but it's all about the traveling up and down the road. We live less than half a mile from the main street, and they get up, like one lady said, or they get up to 50 miles an hour, and I can tell because I've been off work for almost a year, and then having these people or these homes across from our place is very concerning, because we have no sidewalks or any kind of, we have drainage ditches, but they flood easily, and but but we have no kids or no places to walk other than in the grass. And my mailbox has been hit 3 times in the last 2 years. 2 years, 3 times. The neighbor up the street at 508 or something like that, on the corner of Nunn and Willingham, her mailbox was hit. You saw it laying down. It was hit recently. We got kids traveling up and down. We've got bicycles coming up and down, and you're going to add another 11 houses or whatever it is in this section. Forgive me. I get emotional. I'm very concerned about our kids. It's not like Main Street, like you built sidewalks. It is a main thoroughfare. You know that. You've been on that. We have no place to bicycle or walk kids. We're less than a half a mile from the high school on game day. Well, you know that kids are walking up and down. And then it's the noise. There's going to be a lot extra noise. And I'm afraid that, like this man owns cattle or whatever, I'm afraid that it's going to affect everything that we tried to accomplish, all of us tried to accomplish in our years being there. And I hope you can take that in consideration and my gosh, if it were 1 or 2 houses on there, I wouldn't even be up here. I have never been in front of y'all. I wouldn't be up here. It would just be, okay, well, we got 1 or 2, but you're talking 11 on 5 acres with streets, and how many accesses do they have? I can't believe I said that word, accesses. But how many accesses do they have there? And coming out of our Gus that she mentioned, the lady mentioned, they're gonna come out and onto his driveway. You know, I'm just worried. And the city does nothing, in my opinion, does nothing to control the speed on Willingham Road. And that's going to hurt us. When somebody gets killed, because there's been many accidents over there, but when somebody gets killed, you're gonna be at fault. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
anybody else? No? Okay, it is 6:24. I will now close the public hearing and reopen our regular meeting. Right. Do y'all have questions about this request?
I just want to clarify something. So if this is denied, they can develop as estate density and get 5 houses on without any kind of application to the city, just permits, right?
Yeah, that is correct. Do we have a map of that particular area with the zoning that's around?
I've been trying to bring up the map site, and Leslie, you may have a better luck than me, but it's not coming up.
Nunn Street, all in there, and then also Cameron and Lynn.
Okay.
And sitting here thinking, I did not remind them, but not that I should have to remind them, but no, I haven't heard from them, they're not here.
And for an application for a zoning change, you don't have to do a hardship, it's just, it's not like a, variance. You don't have any justification of hardship or anything like that.
So for a zoning change,
It's just a
there
request.
are, what, 4 things, Susan, that we need to consider? Based on that email from Blake earlier this week. You know what I'm talking about? Or are you talking about that other?
Wait a second.
Is this it for
Yeah.
this tract? I was gonna show it to Chad. I think it's that one right there.
Because I had maps from the last time, I had my copy, I'm trying to do 3 things at once. And I know I saw it.
Because it's adjacent, going directly across the street,
Right.
across Willingham from.
Yes, it's across.
So what, this map here,
And everything on that side of the road is
this map here, I mean, this is,
state.
It doesn't show the zoning.
That's what, I'm looking for one like that, yes. Yes. See that?
So yeah, this side is low.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that may have all the issues.
Okay.
Back here is all state.
The houses in the front.
Yeah.
Well.
this driveway here
These don't,
is the lady that spoke first. This is her.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
because it controls.
I don't know that.
There it is.
There we go.
Alright, so that track is right there. Yeah. Okay.
And I have that, Leslie. Eczema.
Is that, don't you think those 4
But, all
things are what needs to be shown by the applicant?
I mean, I can read that out.
Okay. Yes, please.
There must be a change in conditions to the property that warrant a zoning change. The rezone should not cause a substantial detriment to the surrounding area. The rezone can't be substantially different than the zoning of the surrounding area, and the current zoning is not suitable for the property.
Can you repeat that, what you said, in loud?
Well, I'm not very loud, so I'll try. There must be a change in conditions to the property that warrant a zoning change. The rezone should not cause a substantial detriment to the surrounding area. The rezone can't be substantially different than the surrounding zoning area, and the current zoning is not suitable for the property.
And I believe this was brought up the last time whenever we were looking at this, is, and I agree with whenever it was brought up, based upon what we have available with respect to estate zoning, what else do we have with respect to estate zoning besides that?
I think that on,
Everything in that light yellow is,
But
Throughout the city.
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm talking about throughout the
Part
city.
of,
so
part of
we've
Vision
got-
2020 was trying to develop some estate planning.
Was estate. So we have that section here, down here, over there,
Not much.
a little bit up here,
That's all floodplain.
but that's
That's not developable,
not developable, is it?
not without a lot of work.
Yeah, because that's where that's where the Mud Creek comes through that section right there. Okay, and then a little bit down here. This is at the back side of that. Okay. All right. Do y'all have any additional questions? Concerns? Oop, hello. Hello.
I mean, I'm not necessarily concerned with the traffic and stuff like that. That's something that needs to be brought up to the city council and to the police department if it's that bad of a situation out there. And this would actually kind of slow it down a little bit, because you'd have people turning in, but you might have accidents of people trying to turn in and out. But I am very sympathetic to people who bought land nearby to have it rezoned next to them.
Agree.
And
So this residential medium subdivision, they didn't have to put in sidewalks or anything like that?
That there is nothing from that particular residential medium that comes out onto Willingham. So everything goes out on 110 for that entire
Gotcha.
tract that is
Gotcha.
right there. Yeah, that entire tract dumps out on 110.
And don't neighborhoods have to put in?
Neighborhoods do now. At one point in
Right.
time, we did not have that
Right,
requirement.
they didn't require it.
So we have several older neighborhoods that it
Right.
was not required.
That wasn't required at that particular time.
I mean, the issue seems to be more of like the traffic in the street and lack of sidewalks, which really this subdivision doesn't I mean, we
Half
can't
a lot.
require them to put in sidewalks because they wanna put in 11 homes, you know?
Not on,
No,
not
no,
down Willingham.
no.
Right, right. So, I mean,
But that's most of White House.
right, right. So, I mean, but the issue's not really a zoning issue, it's a traffic and
Right. That's a police
facilities
issue.
issue, access issue, that's not a zoning issue.
Correct.
If I understand correctly and have read everything correctly, the street is a cul-de-sac street, gonna be towards the it's not gonna be on the back part of the property, it's gonna be up close to the Willingham Road area,
Yes.
right?
It's right off
I
of
mean, if
Willingham.
I'm reading the map right.
Yeah, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses with their
That'll be
backyards
a
up.
backyard up to, that's, okay. You know, and I'm certainly sympathetic to all those around, and I live off of Willingham in the subdivision, and I too have traffic concerns, but it's not anything from, say, Nunn Street down to, the two subdivisions down at the bottom of the hill there, right past the creek. It's 35 mile an hour speed limit.
Lost Creek.
Lost Creek Estates, yes, that's right, thank you. And, but I know that from my house where I live, and I'm about 5 houses off of Willingham in a small subdivision, I can hear them as they top the hill from this area going towards 346, and I certainly have lots of empathetic feelings towards the traffic, because I have witnessed a motorcycle accident there, hitting broadsiding a truck, and he was airborne when he topped the hill, so he was obviously going well over 90. So, but the traffic concerns are not a planning and zoning commission issue. That is a traffic control issue, which I have addressed duly with others as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a good point that we have high and medium density coming out our ears and not a lot left that's at the state level.
Well, the dark yellow is low.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the majority of the town is, and that's what they're
Asking to go to.
asking to go to.
So, is Forestdale not, is
It's not gonna show on
Okay.
this. So apparently,
This is an older map, we can't get the
so
new
what's
maps.
Forestdale?
It's residential medium plan development.
So it would be, I mean, that's a big chunk. It would be what color?
It would be orange.
It would be orange.
No, it would
Red
be,
color?
actually, it would be blue because it's a plan
Oh, plan
development.
development.
It's-
But it would be similar setbacks and densities to the orange.
To the orange,
Yes.
yeah, which is it's back over here.
Do the Bonhams own all of that big chunk?
A lot of it.
They own quite a bit, I don't know how much, the map site's not working.
Yeah, they own quite a bit of it.
I think, I think they've sold some, so they don't own as
Oh,
much
have they?
of it. Yeah. I mean, I'm okay either way. I don't think the issues presented are zoning issues, so that's my opinion.
So it boils down to, are they gonna develop 5 houses or 11 houses?
I mean, somebody could buy it the lots and never put a house on it, you know? It just has the option.
Okay. Well, do I have a, do we have a recommendation?
It's still gotta go before council, right? So the council will get,
Depending on your recommendation.
If you recommend to approve, then yes.
well, that's what I meant, like, if we recommend it to council, then council would still have the opportunity to hear the issues presented, but they would know how we feel about it, so. So it's not, they would have our recommendation, but then people with concerns could still have that opportunity to.
Yes, there would be another public hearing.
Yes.
That people could come to, but if you send a recommendation to approve, that's what I have to present to council.
Right, right. But it would give another opportunity for the issues to be presented too, also.
So do we have a recommendation, one way or another?
I don't feel like they have met the 4 requirements for rezone. I think they've hit one of the 4, and I personally think it should stay estate. And that's what White House needs is more estate. But at the same time, I also don't see the estate lands being developed. I don't see a market for the estate property, which is not helpful to the city. So I'm kind of torn on what to do.
And Susan, when they fill out their application to request a rezoning, they don't have to prove up how they meet the criteria. I think you had it in the last packet, and I don't remember seeing anything like that.
The applications in it should be in the packet tonight as well.
And it does ask them to provide reasons for their
Reasons why.
request of the rezoning.
Right, they just kind of describe what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Right.
But
I can't,
I mean,
I can't tell them what to
Yeah,
say.
that's
Yeah.
not enough.
I mean,
Yeah.
in my opinion, it's their property, they can, you know, on one hand, I see that, but on the other hand, you know, I feel like it's our duty to protect what our vision is for the city and not just push for houses. So,
So do we not?
my recommendation would be to not recommend approval by the city council.
So you say you
Can you
recommend
make
to
that
deny,
recommendation?
Wait,
deny the request?
So it come down to a vote.
so are you
Let's see.
so, yeah, you're making a motion to recommend denial
Of
of
the final,
the, of
of the zoning request, rezoning
the
request,
rezoning request?
would be my
So that's your,
motion.
so your motion is to recommend
Denial
denial
of the rezoning request.
rezoning request.
I'll second that.
Okay, so-
Before us.
Okay, so I have a motion and I have a second.
Who was the second?
Okay, can I have a roll call vote on that?
Yes.
Or against.
If you're voting against,
To deny.
Yeah.
Four.
Yes, if you say I'm for, because the motion is recommended to deny, you're voting to deny.
Okay.
If you vote against, you're recommending to recommend to approve. Okay, are we clear as mud?
Clear.
Okay. Daniel Turner,
I am for.
David Wright,
For.
Cassie Hollinshead,
For.
Tony Harris,
Four.
Amanda Kelly,
Or,
and Randy Humphrey,
Four.
and Chad Cleckler.
4. So it's denied.
Susan, for benefit of the audience, will you explain what happens next with the denial?
Well, what happens next is that I will have to call, because they were not here tonight, and let them know. What happens next is I'll have to call and let them know the action tonight, and there would not be, this would not move on to city council, so there will not be another meeting on December 13th for this. We'll have a council meeting if you guys would like to come and join. And then if they want to do something else, the process starts back over. They'll have to come and reapply for any rezoning that they wish to do.
Thank you
Said
so
if they do
much.
5 houses, they don't need a rezoning request. They can
Right,
just-
correct.
Correct. If
That is
they
correct.
present us plans that meet the residential estate requirements, then there's no meeting like this.
Please allow, I want to.
Can I,
Thank you.
please take y'all's concerns about the speeding
Yes.
and the traffic to the city council.
Absolutely.
Because they can,
So we had
they can, to the city council, they can affect that. We can't affect that.
We've had a conversation about speeding and things like that. If we can let the city manager explain what has just recently happened.
So at last night's city, because it's factual, I can
Okay.
disclose it, even though it's not on the agenda. At last night's city council meeting, we had a lengthy discussion about speeding all throughout town. I can assure you, Willingham is not the only issue. It's a big issue, but it's not the only one. I think we all know that. And so we are in the process of researching and looking at different options that we have throughout town. We mentioned several streets last night. I'll make sure yours gets added to the conversation. I think there are some things we can probably implement, that we're gonna implement in some other areas that would work on Willingham. Let me get with our police chief. And Susan, do you have some of their contact information? Okay, Susan has your contact information, so I'll try my best to keep you posted as we go through that process, okay?
I don't know that you have.
I don't have yours, Mr. Lennon, I may have
I can
yours,
give you-
but
I've got a card, I'll grab you my card, and if y'all just wanna shoot me an email, give me a call.
I would like to give it to you.
she's gonna get.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Susan, can I go ahead and proceed?
Okay, I thought I was having to take this information and I'd say no.
She'll get it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gary.
Okay, that takes us to item G2, discussion, consideration, and action on Rose Meadows subdivision unit 1, block 1, lots 1 through 23, and block 2, lots 1 through 14. You give us a little background on this?
Yes, commissioners, as you may recall, Rose Meadows subdivision is a planned development that came through here and also through city council that was recently approved. They are moving forward with their construction plans, and we have received a plat for the first unit, which is block 1, lots 1 through 23, and block 2, lots 1 through 14, as Mr. Cleckler just described. We have received their plat. It has gone out for review. Mr. Watson has reviewed it. Our engineer has reviewed it. I know in my staff report, I said at the time, I hadn't heard back from our engineer. I spoke with him this morning. He had no concerns with the plat itself. He is still in the review of the civil plans. Civil plans have not been completed, their review yet. Civil plans don't have to be completed for a plat to be approved. So at this point, because he didn't have any concerns. Mr. Watson said all of his concerns have been addressed with the surveyor. At this point, we are recommending that this be approved. And to let you know, because it is a planned development, this will also have to go to, city council, which is a little bit different. Normally plats stop with you guys if you approve them. But it's a, planned development has a different caveat.
Yes.
This is a rose field, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, it is. Okay. Do we have any questions concerning this? No. Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move to conditionally approve the final plat of Rose Meadows subdivision unit one.
Not conditional.
It's not conditionally, I'm
because
sorry,
of-
because I put it that way because I didn't know from the engineer if he was going to have anything. Sorry.
I will move to approve the final plat for Rose Meadows, unit one, block one.
I second that.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
If anyone is concerned or would like to know, this will move on to the December 13th city council meeting.
I only said unit one, block one. Do I also need to include block two? I will move to,
Okay, then we need to
Rescind.
do we rescind it, or can we just do a second?
No, David needs to rescind.
All right,
I rescind my second.
You need to rescind.
I will rescind my recommendation, my motion.
Okay,
Okay.
now, make your,
Make a motion to approve the final plat of Rose Meadows subdivision, unit one, block one, lots 1 through 23, and block 2, lots 1 to 14.
I second that motion.
okay. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. All right. Now,
I won't come back to us.
Thank you.
takes us to, if I can find my agenda, to item H, our October reports.
October was not as good in permitting, but I've already had 3 renew permits for this month. And I assure you, it is not slowing down. We had a meeting today, a pre-development meeting for Park Meadows. I shouldn't say it's not slowing down. It's slowing some, but it is not stopping.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Right. So we're not seeing any large adverse changes with respect to interest rates or anything like that. We're still seeing permitting, we're still seeing all of that that's processing through. It's slowing, but that's.
I think we're seeing this timeline draw out a little bit further.
Yes,
But no one is talking about stopping
okay,
that I know of.
We're still seeing progress, obviously, with Rose Meadow, Park Meadows. I mean, those are two, well, and Forestdale continues some of their progress, so, yeah, we're not seeing a
Okay.
stopping point.
good. That's a good thing.
I was over by Stanton, heard what up quick.
You know, we gotta keep Joey busy.
Stanton. Oh, Conway, yes, that's a rental community for them, so.
Do it a lot at one time.
That was my 36 at one time.
That's that spike in August
Yeah,
or September.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody got any questions about our reports or anything? Okay. All right, and that takes us to item I.
I move that we adjourn.
I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We are adjourned.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Did I get